Hi guys, in this video I thought I'd tackle some of the crucial elements of macOS. I've been a macOS user for over 10 years and I've found the experience to be better once I figured out the various shortcuts and how macOS works differently to Windows. This Ventura edition is designed for those who are thinking of switching from Windows or are new to macOS. So let's get started. Firstly, I would like to show you a few of the Mac shortcuts. It's vital as a Mac user that you know these, as it will make your experience simple. So in Windows, any command begins with Control and a letter. In macOS, this starts with the Command key. For example, to copy something, you would need to select Command and C. To paste, it's Command V. To take screenshots on the Mac, there are a few ways. To simply capture the entire screen, it's Command Shift 3. To select an area to capture or even record, it's Command Shift and 5. You'll see a HUD with various options to capture the screen and select window or select portion. The same goes for capturing video. The Finder is the equivalent of Explorer in Windows. It remains open at all times, and if we look at the very top left of the screen, it says Finder. This will change depending on what app you'll be using. One thing that's different to Windows is closing apps. I'll open Safari. At the very top of every app, you'll see 3 circles. The red is to close, the orange is to minimize, and the green circle can do one of a few things once you hover it. It can maximize the window or move it to either side of the screen, or you can view it on your iPad. To close the app, unlike Windows, you will need to quit the entire app, as sometimes when you click on the red circle, it would only close a page. You can always quit an app using Command Q. You can also customize a Finder window. You can change the view to Icon View, List View, Gallery View, or Icon View. I typically use List View as I find it much easier to find something. At the very bottom of the screen, we can see a row of icons. This is the dock. You can customize it by dragging in folders and apps you'll need quick access to. You can also remove apps too by dragging the app to the top of the page. It will display remove, and at that point, you can let go of the mouse or trackpad to remove it. I have all of the apps I use, plus apps that have previously been open, just like on iPad. You can change the size of it and more through the desktop and dock section of System Settings. System Settings is the place you need to go to customize every aspect of your Mac, from appearance, control center, to wallpapers. If we go into General, we are then given a list of things we can access, such as information about this Mac, to storage, to Time Machine, which is a backup feature, and more. If at any point that Apple pushes out a new update, it will appear in Software Update. If we go to Appearance, we can change the colour of windows from light to dark. Auto uses your location to determine the time of day, and as the day draws into night, the windows will change its appearance. This reduces blue light, allowing your eyes and body to shut down at the end of the night. At the very top, it gives you the choice to log into your Apple ID. Your Apple ID includes iCloud. iCloud is a storage service by Apple that not only stores your documents, but it also syncs apps between your devices. So if you have an iPhone, for example, it will sync all your photos to your Mac. This applies to your email accounts, Safari bookmarks, messages, passwords, and more. If you use Apple devices a lot, then I would recommend turning all of these on. It just keeps it all up to date across all your Apple devices. If we go back to the dock, you'll see an app with colourful blocks inside it. If we click it, it will take you to the Launchpad. This is an area that displays all of your installed apps, just like on iPad. To remove a default app or an app you've installed from the App Store, you simply click and hold, and all of the apps will start jiggling. Some apps will have an X next to them, others won't. If we go back to the Finder and select Applications, we can remove apps directly by placing them into the trash can. In Windows, it's very different as you have a dedicated uninstaller. This is a much simpler way of getting rid of apps you don't want or use. Default apps such as Mail, Notes, etc. can't be removed as they are the core of macOS. Spotlight is this magnifying glass located in the top right. When I click it, it opens up a text field. You can search for existing files, apps, but you can ask it anything, such as math problems, online searches, image searches, and more. You can also launch it on your keyboard using Command and Space. When I click on the time and date, you'll see that I have widgets. These come as standard to macOS, but if you have third-party apps that include widgets, you can select a size and either click or drag it to the sidebar. These are handy at a glance if you need to know your weather, appointments, and more. Safari is the default web browser in macOS. I have set it up so that the first thing I see are my bookmarks, reading list, and other websites I've accessed on my other devices. This is where you can find apps that are not available on the Mac App Store. Just bear in mind that if you do install apps from the internet, that you may encounter viruses or spyware. So it's very important to use a website that is trusted and reliable. I sometimes use Google Chrome, which you can also download on Safari. If you have just switched from Windows to Mac, you might notice that right click isn't on by default. You'll also notice that the tracking speed is rather slow. So if we go back into System Settings, scroll to the bottom and click on Mouse or Trackpad, you'll notice there are many options to customize your pointing device. I should tell you that if you already own an iPhone or iPad, the best way is to keep natural scrolling on. It provides the same scrolling as you would with your finger on iOS. It might be strange coming from Windows with this option on, but you have the option to enable or disable it. You also have tracking speed and smart zoom. On the next tab, we have more gestures, which you can turn on or off. It's really about personal preference than necessity. A couple of years ago, Apple introduced Control Center for the Mac. Just like iOS, you can control various things such as brightness, volume, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. All of which you can personalize further in System Settings under Desktop and Dock. I hope that helps you transition from Windows to Mac. I'm sure I've left out a lot of things, but I do hope that gives you a taste of how macOS works. If you have any questions about macOS, I'd be happy to read and respond to them in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video.